I'm Lexie Divers with The Truth 365. In a few days, we have a new film coming out, hosted by Lisa Ling, that talks about the growing childhood cancer movement. Cancer destroys lives and families, something Lisa and I know too well. Today we hear from Lisa Ling's aunt, Anna Pierce, Allie's mom. Allie was diagnosed with liver cancer and died at age 14, the age my own sister Alyssa would have been this year, but cancer stole her from me. We recently spoke with Anna about Allie and the impact of childhood cancer on their family. Here's Anna.
Allie was my firstborn. Her nickname was Most Precious. She centered me, grounded me. She was the apple of her father's eye. Maybe I'm biased, but I think she was a beautiful looking child. She had a very quirky sense of humor, always fast to laugh, not so quick to be angry. And after she developed cancer, she was wise far beyond her years. She was always one to wear the latest clothes and, flit around. When she went back to school, she was bald, she was gaunt, and she would hear kids say, oh, I want to go to the dance, I don't know what to wear, I don't know how to do my hair. And she came home and just said, Mom, my friends don't get what life is all about. It's not about the dance Friday night. It's living, it's enjoying the moment, it's being with your family, it's feeling the sun on your shoulders, it's loving your little brothers. And she got it. And I think that's what happens when children are faced with life-threatening illnesses. It's nothing that is taught, it's something innate that evolves from their souls. Allie was diagnosed when she was 12 years old. She went through 2 years of treatment. She went through surgery. We had our ups and downs. Allie and her father shared an incredible father-daughter bond. And when Allie passed, really John, a large part of him died. The amount of stress he had was incredible, both at work and from her illness and her passing. I distinctly remember that first Thanksgiving sitting at our table without her. And she sat at one end and John always sat at the other. And he looked across at the empty chair and he got up and he ran away and he went up to her room and he was crying. And here the boys were alarmed because John always was the stoic one. And John said, I don't want to be here. I want to be with Allie. And I said, you can't. You still have JT and Mike. So even if you don't feel it, you've got to steel yourself and go back down. And it was 11 months later when he did join Allie.
Now to a story of a father's love for his daughter and the tragic way it ended. Here's NBC's Rahima Ellis with more.
I'm getting strength from my husband and my daughter.
Anna Pierce is a woman with a mission. Her firstborn, Allie, diagnosed with cancer at 12, fought the disease for nearly 2 years. Allie's struggle to live was the focus of a documentary shown in schools.
Because I got this for a reason. And since I learned through this, I'm going to try and share my knowledge.
Through Allie's illness and death, her family learned to live. But they were devastated, especially her father.
There's a special bond between a father and a daughter. The biggest part of him died.
To cope with his grief, John Pierce started running to get money for the University of Massachusetts Cancer Center, where his daughter was treated. He encouraged other runners to join him for what he called Allie's Army. John had recently passed a physical exam. He was running almost 30 miles a week, getting ready for next year's Boston Marathon to raise money to fight cancer. As part of his training, he entered races whenever he could. Saturday, he left home for what should have been a routine 13-mile race.
He had run 13 miles before. It was nothing, but it was everything.
10 feet from the end of the race, 50-year-old John Pierce collapsed.
I feel that he was approaching that finish line, and they say his heart just stopped. And I think his soul just kept going, and it crossed that finish line, and it went to Allie. I'm sorry.
For Anna and her boys, JT and Mike, life will never be the same.
I know what my mission is now. It's to care for my two boys and to form Allie and John's army.
Anna now hopes there will be an army of runners in next year's Boston Marathon, joining her mission of love, running to save lives. For today, Rahima Ellis, NBC News, Princeton, Massachusetts.
And we'll be back right after this.
Every day from the time Allie died until John passed, I prayed that I would just go to sleep and not wake up. And the moment that I heard from the doctor in the hospital that John had died, I wanted to live more than anything. Because I looked at my two boys and I said, they were 8 and 11 when their sister died, and less than a year later, their dad died. What kind of life would they have if they didn't see someone who was strong, proactive, and wanted to give back and support and fight against what really took, I feel, their sister and their father? If we hadn't lost Allie, I don't believe John would be out there running. As odd as it sounds, when we lost John, it gave me the desire and the need to live again. The day after he died, we formed Allie and Dad's Army. There is the John and Allie Pierce chair that funds research. Who would have thought that from one little girl passing in a community of 3,300 people, that to date, for Allie and Dad's Army, it's brought in to this institution millions and millions of dollars. So it started with something as simple as the boys inviting their friends. Do the turkey trot, let's walk, and see if you can just raise a little bit of money. It's just jumping in and getting involved because you know that you've got to help others. If Allie's story can motivate one person, it would mean that somehow her death is a little less painful for me, that her life is a little bit more meaningful for all of us. I can't bring her back, but the story of what we've gone through, the dreams of other people not going through this, that's what I would love to do, to just carry on that way.
Nearly 2 decades after Allie's death, childhood cancer is still a huge problem. It is the leading cause of death by disease in children. It destroys lives and breaks hearts. Please make sure to watch the True 365, a national movement, and learn how you can join the revolution to help all kids impacted by childhood cancer.